It came to my attention that a DJ, I'm not going to say any names because I don't think it's necessary. A DJ basically said that a lot of the pioneers in hip hop are they're dusty, or how can they be the person that invented hip hop? This idea that you have to have money or else you don't have any value is a bad idea, and it's a misinformed way of looking at the world and the culture.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Saturday edition of the Pond. We're in the corner today, King's Corner of the Piranha Pond live StreamCast. I am your host, KingFishMack. Trying to get it in this morning. Y'all know what it is. On Instagram, you guys can jump over on the YouTube side of the game if you want to. Catch us at the Piranha Pond StreamCast. I should have put the link up, but maybe I'll pin it in a minute. I wanted to take a minute, man, to get into what's been going on social media the last 2 days with DJ Akademiks and a variety of other old school cats from hip hop. Apparently, DJ Akademiks, in one of his rants, I think he might have been talking about Future selling his catalog for $75 million. I got a fly in here fucking with me. Future selling his catalog for $75 million. During the rant, he made a comment to the extent of, by the way, some of you old niggas, you pioneers in hip hop or whatever, man, y'all be looking kind of dusty and broke. Like, for real. Like, I kind of sometimes don't believe you invented this shit, man, because, other niggas is getting bread and you niggas is kind of broke and dusty. So, overnight, there was several responses. The three that I want to deal with today are the responses from, well, we already saw the response from LL Cool J at the beginning. And LL's overall response wasn't disrespectful or clowning or, trying to sun DJ Akademiks as much as maybe Russell Simmons and certainly Ebro in the Morning from Hot 97. What it seemed to me is that a lot of these cats that's been in hip hop forever and a day, some of the more notable names, took offense at what he was talking about, simply for the fact that, hey, what's going on, Mr. Non-Flyer? You know what, man? I should send you the link, man, and have you jump in. I didn't know what you was doing today. In any event, a lot of the older dudes had a lot of these older cats in hip hop have taken the stance that, you have to have some kind of reverence for the guys that, were in the game before you. Somehow they made, paved the road for you to be able to do whatever it is that you are doing as a younger hip hop artist or vlogger or whatever, wherever you found your space in hip hop. And the shit kind of comes off as real condescending to me. I'm an older dude, 57 years old. I've been in hip hop since the beginning, right? Like, this is the background music to my entire fucking life since I've been old enough to know anything about. Like, I come from the fucking funk era through the disco era and all that bullshit and right into hip hop, like first generation motherfucker. So, and I've never left the culture. So I'm not an old nigga that is just sitting on the porch. All right, good looking out, bro. I'm not an old nigga just sitting on the porch that is critical of the younger niggas and how they move, and how some of these old niggas, oh, in my day it was this, that, and the third. We had to walk 3 miles to get to school. Fuck that shit, right? Because nowadays niggas just jump in an Uber. And I always come from the position that if you're not moving with the times and adapting to the newness or the freshness of whatever the fuck is going on in your particular genre or however you're moving, then you're going to get left behind, man. You're going to be a dinosaur, and you're going to be one of these motherfuckers that's just throwing rocks at fucking cars that's driving by talking about they going too fast or some shit. But again, like I said, a lot of these cats, or because of the way that I kind of look at things, or because of my ability to have had adapted to the newness of whatever the fuck was going on, and finding some pleasure and some fucking likability in the newness of the culture, how the culture changed. A lot of times I could kind of see where a nigga my age might be kind of left in the dust in terms of current thinking. But in any event, let's address some of the responses. I wanted to put Akademiks his initially what he said up, his initial statement, so that you guys could kind of have an understanding. But I already said it, it's not necessary for me to go back like that. But in any event, what he was doing is he was describing why motherfuckers in today's age are being able to make multi-million-dollar deals, tens of millions of dollars, as kind of like the normal, and how cats from back in the days who didn't reap any of the monetary benefits kind of bark at that kind of shit as though it's unimportant, and that your contribution or whatever the fuck to hip hop has to be something more than money. Here, let me show you what Russell said. This shit is hilarious to me. Where we at, Uncle Rush? Here we go. Check out Uncle Rush. This is his response, or part of it.
Don't forget your roots, Akademiks. Is that how you pronounce it? Like the clothing brand?
Clown.
Stop it.
Fuck out of here.
Pause and be grateful for those who came before you, who built your life. I don't know how wealthy you are, how many boats you float on, how many cars you own. How many people have you made rich? How many people have you made successful, who have made their families successful? What have you done for the culture, most importantly? I know Kanye's songs, and I know Drake's songs. I don't know you. I know I sound like Stacey Dash. I don't know.
Sorry, on Instagram, y'all can't hear the clip.
Don't forget your roots, Akademiks. Is that how you pronounce it?
Oh, my bad. So basically, what Russell is saying, he's trying to sign him. I don't know. Don't forget your roots, Akademiks. Is that your name? Like the clothing brand, and that's an inference to the fact that his name. He takes his name from a clothing brand that was prominent, now defunct, in hip hop at a time, right? It was, fucking Akademiks clothing brand was the shit. Them fucking jackets cost a couple of few $100, as well as the jeans and everything else. But Russell's point is that without the clothing brand Akademiks, spelt the exact same way that DJ Akademiks spells his name, he wouldn't have been inspired. The thing about this positioning for me, right, is that I came up during that time, and though I wasn't in the business, I was a student of the business at the time that what I call the golden age of hip hop, the 90s. I was in the penitentiary studying entertainment business, right? On my own, had a bunch of fucking books and all the fucking trades and, you know, everything. So I kind of kept up on what was going on in terms of film as well as music. What I knew to be true was that music was the redheaded stepchild, especially black music, to all the other forms of entertainment that was popular and being marketed to black people at the time. Because remember, these are in the days of, you know, Cosby Show, Martin, In Living Color, you know, all of these different kinds of things and shit, right, were going on. There was a big push for people joining fraternities and sororities, you know, going to HBCUs. And in the music business, what you had were a lot of people who we'll take Russell out of the equation, right? Because he was about the only one. But you had a lot of people who were artists turned executives who had what were floated to the audience as record companies, right? So we had LaFace, we had Bad Boy, we had you know, all these various different black faces on being the front of business for black music, right? And in that era, first thing was most of these companies weren't record companies, right? They were simply production companies negotiating a deal with you and the record company, wherein they got a larger portion of your fucking recoupables or your receivables than you did, right? So they were basically the middleman, right? They would be in charge of getting your music produced, packaged, you know what I'm saying, mixed down and everything, kind of took over the management of you as an artist, kind of hired PR people to get your image intact, image consultants and that kind of thing. But all the real business was being done by Universal, fucking Atlantic, you know what I'm saying, the Warner Electra, you know what I'm saying. And so these companies like Bad Boy, fucking So Def, LaFace, these companies were simply put in place to take advantage of young, unknowing, and unsuspected talent, right? And then as far as the actual talent, right, say rappers, right? Rappers, I come from the era, like I was a D-boy when rappers were trying to come up. Rappers used to emulate our lives, right? We actually lived the life that these niggas talked about. These niggas were square niggas who kind of came into the game looking at the lives of guys like me and the cats that I fuck with and kind of putting it in rhythmic and lyrical fashion that kind of sound good. So the very first niggas that supported the rappers was the street niggas, right? The niggas that felt you was talking about us. The thing about it is the rappers weren't looking at the emergence of hip hop as like this underground railroad to get out of poverty and that everybody was going to have a chance, that you needed to spread the word and, you know, your homies was getting, no, it wasn't like that at all. Niggas was out for death. Niggas was out for dolo, period. It was all about you and your shit. You feel what I'm saying? How much shit you could accumulate. Rapping was a braggadocious art form. It was all about your shit. How much shit did you accumulate? And part of that was kind of fucking keeping the door closed for a nigga that might be a competitor. You're not going to open up the door and say, oh yeah, I got a record deal with fucking Sugar Hill or what was the other one? Can't remember the one KRS and them was on. In any event, you're not going to get a record deal and be like, oh yeah, let me go back to the hood to the nigga that I was battling on the corner and tell him, look, man, you need to put you a demo to get. Nah, niggas was all about keeping that shit to themselves, rising up above the competition, kind of moving the way that they was moving. And it was more about yourself, not about broadening the culture. So 40 years later, when you have motherfuckers that want to stand on this virtual signaling and some more shit like, oh yeah, if it wasn't for us opening the doors for niggas like you wouldn't even be able to blah, 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 blah. I just think that's some bullshit, right? You wasn't trying to open up no doors. The doors that were open that you went in got firmly slammed behind you. And for those who were able to creep through whatever cracks and crevices might have been left to get through after you, say, an artist signing an artist, then you was in a predatory position and shit, right? You were utilizing your position to take advantage of another motherfucker's talent. So don't give me that shit about you are for the culture, you was for the culture. If it wasn't for me, things like this couldn't happen. Nah, the thing about it was y'all fucked up. All you niggas from the 80s and 90s, you fucked up. You niggas was some wretched ass motherfuckers. Let me just say it. I was one of you. I was the nigga that was on the block, you know what I'm saying, pushing that poison and shit, right, that you niggas was rapping about, right? Thing is I understand, you know, and take accountability for what I did. I also know that I wasn't trying to open up the door for a bunch of niggas to get in and be on my level, you know what I'm saying, with that crack game. You know what I'm saying? If anything, I would have been trying to get a nigga to work for me or some fuck shit like that, right? Because that was what the culture was at the time. The culture wasn't about, oh yeah, we got access to all this motherfucking powder and we know how to turn it into rocks. Let's just open it up for everybody else. It was like, nah, let me get the fuck up out of here and go spread my shit to somewhere else. Let me go to fucking Denver, Vegas, Houston, Omaha. You know what I'm saying? Let me get the fuck up out of here and go do some shit. Fuck them niggas in the hood. They got to figure it out themselves. Well, you niggas was just like us. I'm just able to stand on my shit. You niggas won't stand on the motherfucking thing. All you niggas that had big deals became millionaires in the 80s and 90s through hip hop, through your hip hop artistry. I'm not taking nothing away from your talent. You was piss poor businessmen. You know what I'm saying? To start off, you got fucked, right? All y'all's deals was fucked up. You know how I know? Because in 2020 through 2022, all you sorry motherfuckers have been begging for motherfuckers to make you whole again about some fucked up shit that you signed your life away on 30 years ago. All you motherfuckers. So the thing about it is, at the time that you guys started crying about the mistakes that you made, right? Not even mentioning the doors that you left closed for niggas behind you. But at the time that you guys started crying about the mistakes you made, it just happened to be at the same time that streaming was blowing up. And what you niggas realized, right, that not only did you not open up no fucking doors for no niggas behind you, what you actually did was you negotiated yourselves out of future earnings from technologies that didn't exist at the time that you signed your shit. Okay. The thing about it is everything kind of is wrapped up in ownership, right? You niggas didn't know fuck about ownership and you didn't give a fuck, right? All the way to the quote unquote pseudo record company owners / production company motherfuckers. You guys didn't care about masters and publishing and that kind of shit until Suge started talking that shit. All you motherfuckers cared about was making the music and having the white boys distribute that shit and being able to control the other niggas under you, right? So when it came time to you niggas to start complaining and crying about what you didn't get because now streaming has popped up, streaming is making more money than record sales ever did. And you niggas is trying to figure out how can I get a piece of the pie that I baked 30 years ago? And these young niggas is listening to you. And they saying, damn, that was kind of fucked up. Why would you sign some shit like that? I'm not going to fucking sign no shit like that. So the pivot came, these young niggas deciding that these older niggas wasn't no fucking business, man. They didn't give us no game about the fucking that they took. All they did was try to keep the fucking cycle going, and we ain't going for this shit. Let me not do what they did. Now, we got streaming. How do I work this streaming? It's obviously new. Ain't nobody fucking signed nothing, you know what I'm saying, in terms of controlling the streaming DSPs and shit, right? Other than DSP companies, but they let us stream everything for free. YouTube, Spotify, you know what I'm saying? They let us put our shit up there, whatever the fuck we make, we can stream that shit for free. Guess what? I'll do my own advertising. While you motherfuckers are spending $165,000 in pre-fucking marketing and shit, a project that I might not have even been finished with. I might only had 2 singles out. I'll just release the 2 singles for free and get a buzz going and own all my shit and drop more shit for free and more shit for free. And now when it's time for me to sign a deal, I'm not looking to sign a fucking record deal. I'm looking to sign a distribution deal because I own all my shit. How do you, Joe Budden said it perfectly. A motherfucker's coming to me to tell me they got a deal for me for my shit that includes partial ownership of my shit. How are you going to tell me that the deal, right, is giving me partial ownership of some shit that I own 100% of? Suck my dick. Fuck what you're talking about. I'll go negotiate a different way. And it's amazing because the people who actually were independent at the time, the fucking 90s, right? Black record companies are the people who signed the most lucrative deals and are the people who are still around right now. Those people have always preached the same shit to artists on podcasts and interviews. And the people that I'm talking about are obviously Jay-Z and Dame. Let's never forget Dame when we talk about Jay-Z, the billionaire, the brilliant businessman and all that. Dame was the motherfucker that said, fuck that, we'll do it ourselves. We won't sell shit. We're going to a fucking distro deal with these bitches. Dame did that. Dame's still talking about ownership. This nigga still owns all his shit. The nigga has got a partnership deal with Foxhole for the shit that he owns, which is a distro deal, and he still owns all his shit. Jay-Z, great businessman. Baby, I'm talking about Birdman, Cash Money, and Slim, same thing. These niggas never signed a deal where another bigger entity owned them or owned the product. They always owned the product. It's always a distro deal. And they always told a motherfucker in every motherfucking interview that Birdman been on in the last 5-7 years, all he talks about is ownership, owning your own shit, period. P, same thing, Master P. It's a whole variety of motherfuckers that we can go to, you know what I'm saying, where they actually were about the culture. They were for the culture, moving the culture. P and Q out in Atlanta. Them boys out in Watts and shit, right? That fuck with J-Rock and Kendrick and them. These is motherfuckers that looked at the mistakes that all you old motherfuckers that want to stand on your stump, MC Shan and fucking all you kind of motherfuckers who got the money and ran and then fucked the money off and looking broke and dusty, just like that nigga said. You niggas can't stand on nothing to tell a young nigga right now what the fuck he should or shouldn't do. That's just the bottom line on that, man. There ain't no way in the world that a guy who has had the opportunity to grow in the same fashion that this younger nigga has actually taken and grown, you're not in a position to be able to tell a motherfucker nothing about what he's doing. It's the equivalent of the, you guys ever heard the saying, those who can't do, teach? You know what I'm saying? And this is a pejorative fucking remark against college professors that teach business, right? But basically the idea is that, yeah, you might be able to talk about a whole bunch of theoretical shit from a book's point of view, right? But I'm the nigga that's out here really making this shit happen. I'm dealing with the real life problems of selling widgets. Like I deal with staffing, insurance, fucking permits, location, like all this shit you teaching about out of a book. Are you talking about based upon some experience that you might have had from 30 years ago? But I'm actually living this real new shit. So you're not going to be able to teach them out of a book how you have to grease the motherfucking local establishment and shit, local city council, and pay bribes and fucking deal with construction and, you know, all that kind of fuck shit, right? That's behind the scenes. I know about that shit because I'm having to deal with it. Same way that you motherfuckers might have been dealing with. You might not even knew that a lot of your money was being spent on the whole concept of payola, right? Record companies paying radio directors of programming to play to get you spins on the radio. You may not have even been aware of that shit. But as an artist, you want to stand up to a motherfucker that's actually greasing the palms of the whole distro network and shit. Because this nigga's independent, right? This nigga's independent with some buzz, and they got 100,000 motherfucking subscribers on his Instagram page. This nigga's getting 10,000 views a week, you know what I'm saying, on his own shit for his little fucking single that he got out, got no video shot, none of that shit. And you want to tell this nigga how the fuck he gonna run his business. This nigga knows shit. I got 30,000. I gotta go spend next week in fucking Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, and wherever the fuck else to get Texas popping. You niggas don't know nothing about that shit because all you niggas did was took the advance and go buy a BMW on Inkies, you bitch ass niggas, with a fucking dookie chain. So don't fucking stand up in 2022 and be trying to represent yourselves as the forefathers of hip hop. We did all this shit. We made it possible for you motherfuckers to be able to do what you're doing. This nigga Akademiks signed a $10 million Spotify deal after Joe Budden blew the bag. Imagine that. This nigga signed a Complex deal after Joe Budden blew the bag, right? This nigga is a student of the niggas that came before him. Why is it that he can't speak on the obvious mistakes? And he didn't even get into the generalities. The nigga just said, basically, for all you old niggas that's talking that shit about ownership and how this nigga shouldn't sell his shit, you niggas is looking kind of dusty. You kind of out of the fucking loop. You don't know what the fuck is going on. You don't follow the fucking internet or the fucking stats of what's going on with the music business right now. And you're still trying to rely your positioning on what was going on when you was getting down and how you think motherfuckers should regard you because you made a fucking record that we still listen to, or you made a record that got big enough for another motherfucker to make a record because now niggas is saying, okay, well, hip hop is not just a fad. What about all you motherfuckers that made a video, had the nerve to jump out of your fucking hiding spaces and shit, right? You rich motherfuckers, millionaires, multi-millionaires. I'm talking about LL, fucking Uncle Rush, Ebro, for all you motherfuckers that just came out of nowhere to criticize this young man for having an opinion that is legit, actually. What the fuck did you do? Now, Russ, you will say, and you actually did say, you alluded to the fact that a lot of people who have come through the Def Jam route, you know, ended up millionaires and fucking doing big shit. And you point to the names Jay-Z, Kanye, Rick Ross, fucking Ludacris, you know, guys like that, right? And you are absolutely right. But what you don't do is you don't talk about the fucking that they took. You don't talk about the fucking that they took, how Def Jam took the lion's share of the money that eventually trickled down from Universal, right? Remember, Russ, you was in such a bad deal with Universal that you ended up having to sell the other half of Def Jam to Universal before you could buy the whole Def Jam back, and then you sold the shit again. So what the fuck did you really do, bro? Like everybody that came after you They simply took advantage of the opportunity to make connections that may not have been there had not you been making yourself a fucking billionaire. Let's not forget about the fact that while Ludacris and Jay-Z and DMX and all of these people went platinum, none of them, in terms of their deals, none of them made $10 million off of their deals from you. In all of those deals, these niggas had to go on the road. See, again, I'm an old school nigga. I know how the business went. Back then, when you signed a fucking record deal, you ended up being so in debt, especially because if you fucking with a flashy ass company like Def Jam, where the competition is high, everybody is in that motherfucker, flashy, draped, iced out, the whole works. Niggas is pulling up in foreign everythings. You know, this is the advent of that. This is the Dame Dash era, right? Dame brought that shit in, right? Being flossy, the boats, popping champagne, all that shit. And you get a funky ass motherfucking $100,000 advance, you can't keep up. So what they'll do is they'll give your ass $1 million advance. You $1 million in debt, nigga, before you even walk in the fucking studio. And you think these niggas don't keep up with all that? All the time you going everywhere, doing everything. You at a party, you charge it to the fucking company, and they keeping a running tally. And all that shit at the end is recoupables. So out of all the money that's coming in as a result of record sales, you the last motherfucker to get paid. So everybody gets paid, and then when it comes down to you, well, we're going to take off what you owe, what we already gave you, before we start to give you your percentage, before your percentage starts to turn into any real money. However, what niggas knew is the only way to make money is touring. So back in the days, what you see a nigga do is drop an album in December and then go on the road until fucking August. This niggas doing 100 shows. Every one of them shows, you keeping all the bread, other than what it costs for you to put the show on. The record company is not getting none of that money. And that's how niggas was earning their fucking bread. Niggas was never making no money off their record deals, ever. Let's just put that out there. You basically had to go double platinum twice to recoup and then start earning some fucking shit. Mary J. Blige was in the worst deal in her life. She had 4 albums that was all multi-platinum, and she still was broke. Suge had to go renegotiate her motherfucking contract for her to even get. And her money was going through 3 motherfuckers before the money came to her. All black niggas. All niggas taking advantage of the system. And you motherfuckers want to tell me, and all them niggas is iconic motherfuckers, right? Niggas that we supposed to hold in some kind of awe because of what their contribution was to hip hop. Yeah, we danced to their music. You know, Puffy fucking kept us fucking clubbing like a motherfucker. Feel what I'm saying? Andre Harrell, you know what I'm saying? He did his shit. You know what I'm saying? But in the end, they did their shit dancing to the bank. Puffy was Harlem shuffling to the motherfucking bank. Mary J was shooting motherfucking heroin in her fucking arms, so fucking depressed. So don't give me that shit about being no iconic motherfucker that needs to be held in some kind of reverence and shit, right? Because you accomplished some shit in hip hop that the average motherfucker didn't have an opportunity to. I want to know what the fuck happened after that. How did that shit contribute to the whole of the culture being moved forward? Because when I start asking myself those questions and doing the research to find out what the answers are, I always come back to the young niggas, man. I'm always led back to the young niggas. The young niggas is making shit move. The young niggas is making multi-million-dollar deals. The young niggas is finessing the record companies. The young niggas is out here moving this hip-hop culture. All the shit that we talk about in hip-hop culture today in terms of being niggas over 40, right, is kind of missing the boat. What we are is ultra critical of the young genre, where the culture has actually gone. On our podcast, on the Piranha StreamCast, the four of us oftentimes have conversations where we're all over 40. And at times I could see our conversations from all four of our viewpoints kind of missing the point. We're being ultra critical of what's actually going on, as opposed to simply observing what's going on and making that fucking pivot. Remember, everything is about the pivot. So the thing that we talk about most oftentimes, and not the point that I make all the time, is that the streets, the internet is now the new streets, period. Everything that we thought of when I was growing up in the 70s and the 80s was street shit. Like you did everything in the streets. It was even when you came inside was based on when the street lights came on, nigga. It was the streets. Everything was the streets. You had to be in the streets, moving around to get any information, get information out about yourself, to kind of participate in anything, have a fucking opinion. You just needed to be in the streets. And so that made our worlds very, very small. My world was the fucking whatever the square mileage is of Inglewood, California, right? And various parts of Los Angeles. Once I got 15, 16 and was able to jump on the bus or, you know, get in the bucket with the homies and go explore some new shit, trying to fuck with some chick or something that's from another neighborhood. And even in that era, it was, you had to pivot. You had to understand that I'm no longer in Inglewood. Now I cross Florence. I'm in a whole nother world. I got to move different. I got to look different. My dress code got to be different. My language has to be different, or else I might not make it back, right? Nowadays, those same streets are the whole internet, right? So the world is bigger. For a nigga gang banging, right? The world is bigger. And whatever happened, or not whatever happened, but what else has happened is that hip-hop music has become, hip-hop culture has become more intertwined with street culture. There is no clear dividing line between hip-hop and the streets anymore. Again, like I said, when I came up, and I'm first generation hip-hop, I'm pre-Rapper's Delight, right? Niggas that, here, let's get further in than that, because a lot of quote unquote gangster rap niggas talking about gangster shit in the streets was kind of on the East Coast. But we know the shit from NWA, but I'm from before then. Ice-T, Cotty T, Mixmaster Spade, all them niggas was talking about my life. I don't know if them niggas was really about that life, right? I know most niggas that was rapping was trying to rap about the shit they saw us doing, right? So the streets, I mean, hip-hop has always emulated the streets, but now hip-hop is the streets. You have to damn near be a street nigga to have any real credibility in certain genres of hip-hop. You see the biggest name motherfuckers that already made it out of the fucking hood or whatever and shit, right? Niggas that might not have had that same experience, that hood experience. You know, it might have been fucking protected. These niggas might have been in tap school. They mama's trying to keep them up out the streets or whatever. And the motherfucker ends up being a Chris Brown or some shit like that, or Soulja Boy or whoever the fuck. Well, you see these niggas as multimillionaires willing to pay the hood to be affiliated. Like at some point, the flip came where it's not just cool to just be a nigga who has a particular kind of talent, and that talent is illustrating stories about the shit that I grew up around. Now you actually had to be that nigga. And with the advent of drill music, not just Chicago drill, because LA got drill too. Trust. It's drill music everywhere, and drill music is simply the real niggas talking about what they did and gonna do to their ops. To me, it's the equivalent of hitting up the wall in a nigga's neighborhood at 2:30 in the morning. It's not that there's always the possibility that it can spill over into some real shit. Nigga can come out and see us hitting up or whatever, and a nigga can get shot at or whatever. But the likelihood at 2:30 in the morning, everybody sleep, whole neighborhood is quiet, whoop whoop, and we being quiet or whatever and shit, spray paint on the nigga's wall. Nigga wake up and it's like, oh my fuck, what did the Inglewood niggas do? Right? Fuck them niggas, we're gonna get them niggas, whoop, whoop, we gotta slide, whatever the fuck, right? But the impact is made. Nigga, we struck up on your shit. That's drill music. Nigga, we killed your homeboy, stood over him, pissed on the fucking grave, whatever, whoop, whoop. Nigga, this is what it is. It's up, it's on site, nigga. And here, nigga, we got more shit to say about how we putting in work than you niggas do. How about that? And that's what it is. It's just gangbanging and music put together. Music being the advertisement for the gangbanging. And it just is. It's not gonna be no amount of old niggas who didn't do fuck for the young niggas coming up after them that's gonna be able to influence these niggas from stopping living how they living. Period. Just is what the fuck it is, man. And the quicker that we get to understand what it really is, the more effective we might be in trying to assist niggas in seeing things from a different perspective. Like, remember, hey, Mama Nell, love you. Remember, most of us and most of you that's watching me now, right? Because, my Instagram and YouTube and all of that shit is comprised of my real friends, right? I don't really have a whole bunch of subscribers that I don't know, no fans or nothing. So you niggas know, like, how we came up, our lives are, we with the fucks. We with the fuck shit. Like, nigga, we pistol packing, long hair, don't care, represent the hood, get your fucking bread at all costs. If a nigga fucking cross that line, I'm gonna pop your ass up. So stay on your side. Nigga, I live by my reputation. Like, we been them niggas. We was them niggas, for real. How the fuck you get to be 50 and now you want to look down on niggas that live just like you lived, but do it a little bit more intense than you did it, and you somehow want to pass judgment like, oh yeah, them young niggas, they crazy as a motherfucker. You can't tell them young niggas nothing, because them niggas, they don't give a fuck about, they don't care about life, and that's why the world is like what it is today. All that bullshit, man. Like, remember the older niggas, the niggas that came up in the 50s for y'all from Los Angeles, some Slossons and them gladiator niggas and businessmen and vanguards, all them niggas. Remember when they turned into motorcycle clubs when the Crips and Bloods came out, and them niggas was looking at the cribs and be like, I don't know what's up with them cribs. They didn't took it to another level. Like, we used to fight with a chain at the most, a nigga might get hit with a bottle, or nigga might have a switchblade, but these niggas nowadays, all of them got a motherfucking pea shooter. Yeah, they ain't got no goddamn heart. None of them can't fight. That's why they got to shoot at it. Remember, we was them niggas. We was the niggas that the old niggas talked about. Now you the nigga that's talking about the young nigga. Same shit. In any event, what else do I want to say? I had a shot about Ebro. Because Ebro, and if you guys don't know, Ebro in the Morning, this dude from Hot 97 in New York, one of the more popular morning show hosts, as well as program director for Hot 97. He came from Oakland. He worked for K-Mel back in the days. Moved to New York maybe 20 years ago. Got a job at Hot 97. Moved his way up. He's program director. And now he's gotten a job at Apple Music. I think he's the head of hip-hop music division or some bullshit like that. I don't know. But him and Ack have been going back and forth. Ack has got beef with the whole Hot 97. Matter of fact, I will do this. Aka's got a beef with the whole Hot 97, and it comes down to the same shit that I was just talking about, where Ebro and Peter Rosenberg have been staples at Hot 97 for years, along with Funk Flex and whoever the fuck else, right? Mr. C, all those guys. They've been kind of the gatekeepers of music, what gets played, how successful you are as a new artist. Fucking fly. And in the advent of the vlog, right? The hip hop vlogger, maybe about 5 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe, people started getting a little traction on YouTube for having commentary about the hip hop industry. Guys in radio really kind of looked at them as, you know, this little internet bugs type of shit. So as Ack was kind of building his platform, he ended up being in kind of a low-key mentorship between a low-key mentorship with Charlamagne the God, who Ebro and Hot 97 have beef with historically. And so when, according to Ack, allegedly, when Ack was emailing Ebro and Hot 97 on some advice on how to get in the radio, Ebro got back at Ack like, yeah, well, you fuck with Charlamagne, you need to get with him. We ain't fucking with you. We don't fuck with you because you fuck with him, basically, right? And so that's kind of been the running narrative. What I've noticed, or everybody knows because it ain't no fucking secret, is that Ebro is he had been very dismissive of Akademiks as a brand, because Ebro was fully invested in radio. Akademiks, however, saw the bigger vision that internet, vlogging, podcasts, and all that was going to overtake radio. It has, right? Radio is kind of like grandfather still trying to hold on, like these old niggas trying to get at niggas about how they supposed to respect the forefathers of hip hop. Like, really, nobody really listens to radio. Niggas get their fucking music and information from streaming services, and that's just what the fuck it is. Like, if a nigga listen to I listen to the radio when you guys film it, and I listen to it in clips. That's how I know what the fuck Ebro said about Akademiks on the fucking radio. Otherwise, that shit would have certainly missed my radar. But in any event, here, let me give you a bar of Ebro on the low-key hating side of the game, right? Of course, you know, Flex has something to say about Akademiks. Like, everybody old school hip hop has something to say about Ack. And so here's Ebro responding to whatever Flex said to him.
Yo, Flex. I know you like Akademiks because he speaks his mind. That's cute and cool.
That a bitch.
I know you like Akademiks because he gets a lot of views on his Instagram page.
Definitely does that.
I know you like that. You want to be a part of that. But I never got past the fact, does DJ Akademiks actually DJ?
Check out the energy.
Where's the DJ energy part?
I don't know.
At some point, I believe at some point I've been told at some point he did.
So maybe he did at one point and then he just stopped.
So the only thing I want to see from Flex and DJ Akademiks is, you know how Flex has DJs come up here and get busy?
Sorry,
that's what we need to see.
Get a clip.
That's the only collab I want to see between the legend Funk Flex and DJ Akademiks.
So again, you guys can hear the clowning nature in his voice. For you guys on Instagram, what Ebro said was, DJ Akademiks, the first thing I want to know is, does he DJ? You know, what kind of bullshit is that? So, Flex, the only thing I want to hear from you and DJ Akademiks is basically Akademiks coming on Flex show and DJing. Some fuck shit. The point being that Ebro is consistently and has been consistently derisive of not just DJ Akademiks, but anybody in the hip hop vlogging podcast space for a number of years, because he always thought that radio was bigger, that radio, that the vlogging thing, especially during the pandemic, that the internet thing was only because niggas was stuck in the house, and that radio, you know, was going to be here forever. Terrestrial radio, it's going to be here forever. This, that, and the third. I would say you totally fucking misread the whole everything, and you kind of just you have an emotional position. You know, you're invested financially as well as emotionally in radio prevailing, but terrestrial radio is pretty much over. Number one, because Sirius XM, iHeart, and all of the streaming services are knocking you motherfuckers out the box. They actually have whole morning shows that you can choose from, that you can pause and rewind and skip to pertinent parts of the fucking cast. You know what I'm saying? And radio is kind of just playing in the car if you don't got nothing else in the car. And who don't got nothing else in the fucking car? Radio is over with, man. The thing is that guys like Ebro, specifically Ebro, Rosenberg, and Laura, to some extent, their other co-hosts, they have a tendency to kind of want to sun motherfuckers like Akademiks. Akademiks, however, has risen to the pinnacle of what you could do. We really ought to teach a master class on Akademiks' particular rise in social media and the digital space, because it's really phenomenal. Like, this nigga didn't have no industry cosign. This nigga got in the industry because he had gotten so big on YouTube and Twitch. It was like, we can't beat him, so let's make him join us type of shit. Throw some bread at him, put him on a fucking a show that appears to kind of tame him and give him some rules. Remember though, Complex was a streaming service as well. It wasn't like this nigga had a fucking TV deal with ABC or fucking some shit like that, or Nickelodeon or MTV, or, you know what I'm saying, nigga, you still signed a deal with a streaming service. My point is that the streaming service signing turned out to be more lucrative financially for Akademiks and more lucrative in terms of global impact for both Akademiks and the streaming services, because the reach far outreaches pertinent radio listeners. So yeah, radio might have more, say like the Ebro in the Morning Show might have 25 million daily listeners, but that shit is spread over 214 countries in syndication and some more shit. Like, you motherfuckers is really doing bad. You feel what I'm saying? Whereas, Act might do 150,000 streams per video. You know what I'm saying? And then break that shit up in clips and some more shit. And both the streaming service and Act are able to monetize those clips as well as the whole video in manners that you're never going to be able to do. So when this nigga says, I'm richer than you, which is what he said, back to Ebro, like, nigga, you've been trying to sun me since 2014. Fact is I don't need you, nigga. I got more impact than you, and I'm richer than you. You and fucking Peter Rosenberg. So you kiss my ass. You motherfuckers need to be coming on my show to get interviewed about why the fuck radio is such a fucking dinosaur and hasn't been able to pivot along with the newness of social media, you know what I'm saying, or in the advent of social and digital content. what we do see is in the last 2 years that radio has, like I say, they have pivoted, but kind of late. Like you niggas are filming the morning show. Got a cameraman or two in there and a couple of stable cameras. And then you have somebody edit the clips. But remember, your shit already went out on radio. Like you already said the shit that is coming out on the clip on the fucking live broadcast. So the motherfuckers that you are so invested in and saying that, you know, you guys are the big dogs of music and, you know, interviews, that kind of content being, you know, terrestrial radio in however many countries. It's amazing that, you know, in the ninth inning, you decide that you want to try to get viewers or monetize people in the same space that you contend is so fucking small that it don't even matter. Like you not making videos for the niggas that listen to your broadcast. They already listen to your broadcast and they don't watch videos. Remember, these is radio people. So who in the fuck are you shooting your radio show video for? The same motherfucking audience that this nigga has been talking to, trying to explain to them what's going on behind radio. The same motherfuckers that you've been saying, oh, well, that's just the internet. He's got his little internet vlog. He's got his little audience. Now, what you say is this. Watch this. This shit is hilarious. Where we at? Watch this.
I don't really have, when I think
It's
about
Ebro.
The only issue I have with Akademiks is the same issue that everybody else has with Akademiks. Is the things that he promotes and monetizes, he's not from or a part of, which is, you know, he has a fetish like many young people do. And so I don't really have, when I think about it.
He's got a fetish like many young people do, right? Funny shit about that whole fucking episode with Ebro and Laura Stiles and Rosenberg is one of the things, I should have clipped it. One of the things that that they did, or that Ebro was doing, was talking about the money aspect, right? He was saying, oh yeah, well, you know, what have you done, this, that, and the third for the culture, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you've made millions of dollars. You know, I have to admit that. Well, you don't want to admit that. Let's just be real. You don't want to admit that, but you do. You have to, right? The nigga is, like, it's obvious, the nigga's done his shit. But what also comes across is the fact that it's almost like you mad that this nigga was able to do what you didn't think he was going to be able to do without going through the regular channels. Like, this nigga created a whole nother route, a route where most niggas that's in the digital space nowadays, if you're just getting started, you really try to take that route. You know what I'm saying? Of organic growth through YouTube and Twitch or whatever other digital streaming service, get some followers and try to swing a deal with a major DSP. It's the fucking blueprint, right? Not get a job at the fucking radio station and go on from 6 o'clock in the morning till 10, 5 days a week, and hope that something that you say is impactful enough for somebody else to give you a better job in the company or some fuck shit like that. Like, Akademiks' route is, you know, it's the clear path. The same way that the route for some of these younger artists, the route of independence, let's just say it what it is, the route of independence and only signing a fucking distro deal and never giving up ownership of your product until you have created the valuation in your product that makes it worth selling, like with Future. Okay, Future sold them all the shit that he did for the last 16 years. I think it's like fucking damn, 16 projects or 30. I don't know. It's like 700 songs. All that shit in the can already. What he did is he signed a licensing deal with him, right? Like, so now they give him $65 million up front, right? And anytime a motherfucker want to use any of that old Future shit in anything, like you want to fucking do a cover of it, you want to fucking put it in a movie, you want to have it in a commercial, all the mechanical licensing shit that you would get paid for, now that money goes directly to the company that bought the licensing rights for however many years he sold them the rights. That's not the masters. That's not ownership of your music. It's just the licensing rights to your particular publishing and shit, right? So think about this, though. I done created 200 songs, right? I done got pretty much whatever I'm going to get out of them up till now, right? I toured off these songs. You know, I got record sales off these songs. I've sold merch. I blew up my Instagram, my TikTok off these songs. And now these songs is 16 years old or whatever the fuck, right? I can't figure out, the only way I can figure out getting any kind of bread out of these songs going forward, right? Because remember, I'm trying to make new music any fucking way. I don't want to keep going on the fucking doing concerts and, you know, doing, you know, fucking commas or whatever the fuck, right? So you know that the only way you're going to be able to get any kind of bread out of this content that you own 100% of is through licensing, right? You don't want to be trying to be in the business of making deals with movie companies and finding out who need what and trying to sell your shit, place your shit, this, that, and the third. And if you did, how successful and how many millions of dollars could you actually generate on your own doing that? Remember, you're a motherfucking recording artist. You're not this other person, right? So what you do is you sell the rights to somebody who actually does that and give you the bread up front. They gave this nigga $65 million. This nigga wasn't going to get $65 million up out of this shit unless they did 12 documentaries where they put his shit in there and you had 15 cover fucking bands on the road every day sending it. You know, come on, man. That's a lot of fucking bread, man. I mean, some of you niggas, man, you niggas have gotten accustomed to hearing these numbers with the end behind them, and you know, so many different niggas talking about millions, but you niggas ain't had no millions. $65 million, nigga. What you ain't selling? Nigga, you niggas will sell your mama for $65 million. Shut the fuck up with that bullshit. So for a nigga to make that kind of deal and still have the ability to continue to do what he been doing, like I'm still young, I'm under 40 years old, I got access to making, you know, 5-10 more albums and shit, right? And then having all that content. It's a brilliant deal. But a nigga like Ebro, he would never be able to see that. You know what I'm saying? Because you still stuck in the business model of growing through, you know, the corporate or climbing the corporate ladder. You trying to climb the corporate ladder through Hot 97 to get to Clear Channel. Like, nigga, you got a whole nother company to go through. Once you accomplish everything in Hot 97, then what? Well, obviously Clear Channel wasn't fucking with you because you had to go sign a deal with Apple Music. Now what, nigga? Whereas the next motherfucker, these young cats, like I said, they being able to see what's going on and being able to make smart moves based upon the mistakes that the older guys made. And if that's what you cats is really hot about, then you need to just say that. All right, y'all. Y'all know what it is, what it has been, what it always will be. This has been an edition of the King's Corner of the Piranha Pond StreamCast on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Instagram. Y'all hit me up. like, share, subscribe, cross subscribe. Y'all know what it is. We're gonna try to keep shit hot for y'all. In any event, we out.